you're not just setting a threshold, you're creating just a different profile. And so it's more, you're getting straight semantic data that you map to something else rather than just assigning the semantic data to some sort of value of numbers. So this thing changes. We don't have to be that aware of how it changes, but let's see how well we can actually assign things. Here, Eric, can you hold this? So we're going to have, right now it's doing nothing, right? So we're just going to click the nothing box. So now it's trained, that profile is doing nothing. Now, Katie, can you put your finger in? Let's say pinky. So let's say touch is just going to be her pinky. So that's like that. Can you take your pinky out? Okay, so it's nothing. Can you put your pinky back in? We have a pinky detector, people. This is great. Okay, so now let's have you do, put 3 fingers in there. Okay, so this is going to be her 3-finger poke. And we're going to assign that to be grab. That's going to be grabbing. We're going to take them out. All right, try your 3-finger poke again.
Oh, to touch.
Tricky. Maybe we need more of a difference between it.
Why does it like go quickly to grab and then back to touch?
Because basically it's figuring out there's like a slight,
something different.
Apparently the grab and the touch that we trained it on are very similar. So let's try a different thing. Maybe do 1 finger from each hand and each side of this. And we'll assign that to be grab now. Okay, so that is now trained to be grab. Okay, pull it out. Now put it back in. Okay, cool. So we have a 2-finger toucher, we have a single toucher, and now let's see if we can do
Maddie?
Let's see if we can do something with Maddie.
Does she freak if we put her paw in there?
She won't. She'll just be
Maddie,
like,
do you like your paw?
what are you doing? Sorry.
We could.
Pick her up again.
She's like, I don't think so.
I know. We're
I don't like
Let's see if the single touch works for me. Works for me? Let's see if I'm similar enough in my capacitive to Katie.
You guys want me to do things? I don't want to do things anymore.
Close.
No. She's like, I'll do it at home.
And you can, if you make this, if you integrate this system better into,
It's like, no! Here, Mom.
There we go.
Okay, so we have Maddie paw
Get it.
in water.
Get it.
Train it, go. Let me
Click it.
Let me click.
Hold on, Matt. She's so good. Look at her.
Okay, take it out. I've retrained it to be grabbed. That's out. Now see if we can put it back in. Maddie paw.
Oh no. I think this is too not controlled. I'm sorry.
And it's tricky too. Every time we move this strand in there, it's going to be completely, it's going to reset the calibration period of the entire thing. You can kind of see how very quickly you can train your device to do these very different types of things. You can, as we even saw earlier, you can even just approach it. So I'm not even touching it right now. I'm going to train that to be in water.
Lurking.
And so like lurking. Look at that. Look at that. That is a really nice interaction right there. That's really cool.
So would there be a way to like separate into zones?
You're talking about worms, you're thinking?
Yeah.
So think about it. What if you have your box of worms? Things are going to change depending on the moisture in your big box of worms. If you keep that perfectly still, you could then train like, okay, I know my worms are here, I know my worms are here, and now that'll automatically change. You could try it out. Maybe you can keep your moisture around the same level and it'll be okay.
What if you put the probe inside like a piece of apple and put them at different levels? And like
put the apples at different levels? When they touch, see that could be really interesting. Yeah.
Currently eating this.
Try it out.
Stop eating things.
Yeah.
Is this how light motion detectors work?
No.
Like outside of houses? Like how do they?
Those
how is
work
that
like the
different
light
than
detectors that we worked before. This thing's doing is it's actually sending electricity through whatever substrate we're using.
Okay.
Light detectors basically have a little piece of metal, and it's special, and whenever photons hit this metal, it basically releases some electricity inside of it, and then you can kind of just sense that.
Yeah.
So that's how the light interfaces work.
Okay.
This is actually detecting your ability to store energy in your body, because you're all very conductive people, and you you can store energy inside of you because energy can go through you, and you act basically. See, these are capacitors, right?
Yeah.
You act like one of these.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, the amount of capacity you have changes depending on it. And these are all frequencies of electricity that goes through you, and those penetrate your body differently depending on like how many bones or whatever you have. And so everything that touches this is going to have a slightly different, unique profile. And that's basically how it works. But that lurking, that's really impressive. That's a really cool interaction. So I think it could hold some good promise for worms. And especially, I've never seen anyone do an array of touche things. Maybe they'll interfere with each other. I don't know. I would start trying out one and just see if you can get any kind of thing with it. It could be really cool. Okay. So that's the touche thing. I'll leave that here for a second. It is 12:10. Oh, we're on
I have a question.
Yeah.
This belongs to Disney. Why would they just like submit it to the public?
Why? That's a good question. That's something I've always been kind of confused about. So these big companies have these huge research labs, and it's basically they get a bunch of academics, and academics still try to, I guess, they want to still share some of their contributions. So in a way, they're kind of like, screw the corporation. We're, sharing this information with everyone. Another part of it, though, I think, is that they're trying to establish their dominance as like a really powerful set of like thinkers and stuff in the field, and being like, oh, we only want to attract, like the best and brightest to our research lab, and here's this amazing stuff we're able to do. And then also, like the third thing, and the probably commercial idea of this is, oh, hey, we have this great idea, but all we ever think about is doorknobs and like falling asleep, maybe banging on a plant. Maybe some other people out there will make this crazy worm detector thing, and then our theme park is going to be full of worm detectors. That kind of idea. So they can also try to, gain ideas back from the public. But the whole research and industry thing has always been kind of weird and confusing.
Yeah, strange.
Cool. Your ambient video today, does anybody know what it is? It's Frozen.
Aquarium, that one big stair thing in front of the big thing.
Yeah. Ocean Voyager.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it looks like right now. There we go.
Wow. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, who's been to the Georgia Aquarium?
I want one of those in the magic park.
We should, except it's expensive, right?
Yeah, the last
They
time I
were
was on a
Georgia
field
Tech
trip.
days where they bring it down to like $10, $15.
Oh.
The last time I was on a field trip in the Georgia Aquarium, I had to get stitches. It was bad.
Good.
Wow. Attacked by a shark?
No. It was still pretty bad.
Cool. So yeah, great place. Georgia Tech does some projects with it, mostly all just straight up sonification things. And so that's a really good example of projects that involve animals. So right now, this is, you heard it was making music earlier, kind of. It was basically, there was a project I worked on where the idea was we're supposed to be able to track all of these fish and all this crazy stuff that's going on, and then generate music from this. But it's a very clear example of a project that uses animals, but is not really interacting with the animals. Do the animals know that there's music going on? No, they don't know or care or can even respond to it all. It's simply a unidirectional flow of animals are doing something, let's use them as a random seed in our music thing to kind of make the music more interesting, possibly. That is not what you guys are going to do. Your animals must be aware and knowledgeable of your creatures, or of your interactions. Next on the agenda, we have the touche thing. we had that. Who here was able to complete the homework for today? Nice. Okay, we got 4. We have someone pointing to something. Oh, this was.
Oh, the scientist?
Yeah, scientist buddies. Okay. So we have 4 yays. Do you know where Anna is?
I have
She's
no
still
idea.
sick?
I should
She might be
fix that, but
There's a thing
There is a thing going on.
going around this close
Cool.
to saying. Yeah.
like there was something bad.
Well, anyway,
Night.
we're going to take 10 minutes, and we're going to have you guys who were able to complete the project talk about what you did, how the interview went, share any cool insights. If you were unable to complete it, please try to do it by next week, or for like half credit. Yeah, what's up there?
So I did get an interview, but since like multiple things were happening to the guy I emailed, I was only able to get it by email. But the other people I emailed actually got back to me today and said I'd be able to call them on like Monday or Wednesday or something like that.
Cool.
So can I continue with that?
Totally, of course, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
these people don't want to meet with the Skype.
Sure. Right? Yeah. So that's what a lot of this assignment was about. Was you're in between a bunch of weird fields, and there's all these people who have knowledge locked up in little different places all over. And we're a huge university. They're like in a building right there, and they're sitting on their treasure troves of animal knowledge. And it's still really hard to even be able to talk to them. But that's kind of that's a huge part about any kind of this like interacting with kind of hybrid methodologies from different places. You got to be scrappy. You got to be like quick, agile, and worm your way into things, and hopefully be able to chat with people. And it ends up being a really good skill that'll help you out. So let's hear from the people who managed to pull off this scrappiness. Hey, Anna, how's it going?
Good, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Feeling better? Cool.
We read a blog post.
They got a blog post about it. Nice. You want to pull it up on the thing?
Sure.
Go for it.
Oh my gosh, I tried really hard to get in on their interview, but they got lost and I couldn't find them.
Oh, that's okay. I tried to get in too, and then I was like 5 minutes late, and they were not in the office. And I was like, cool.
And then the other lady.
Well, these are things you have to learn. Meeting people in real life, there's gonna be all kinds of things that are gonna stand in your way, and so you gotta be like, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna have a red hat. We're gonna go out in the middle of public. I'll be waving my arms trying to just keep trying and see if you can chat with the next one.
My lady emailed me back today. Yeah, she said she's back. That's the
Who'd you
experience
email?
I had. Someone Yen.
Jeanette, yeah, yes. I've been chatting with her too. She's great. She's very enthusiastic.
She was very nice when she emailed me back.
All right, cool, guys. We are pressed for time.
Okay.
Go for it.
So we met with Dr. Strowman, and he is in charge of the lab that deals with fish. And it was really cool. We got there, and he's like, "Hey, want to see the lab? Want to see the fish?" And we were like, "Of course we do."
Awesome.
So basically, he is dealing with fish and looking at their like building pattern, and he specializes in like early development. Because what I got from it is he's trying to study like how the brain works and how like the jaw bones and like when teeth are formed. Because apparently these fish like reproduce teeth every like 50 days. So like they lose teeth, but it comes back. And so I think he's trying to look at like the like cellular aspect of this, and maybe one day how like we can use that to our benefit, like how we can like regrow teeth, or like because once you lose your teeth, like once you only get one extra pair. So it was really cool, and he showed us around the lab, and we also looked at like the fish. He was studying the way the males who had been like they hadn't, what's it called? Like they've been in captivity for like 2 or 3 generations, so they've never seen like a male in the wild, but they still make these like, they call them castles, but it's really like a sand mound. The fish, like, the males pick up the sand in their mouth and move it, and they can move like 40 pounds of sand like overnight, like, which is really, really crazy. So they make these big mounds, and then the males will go and kind of like hover on top of the mound, and that's like where they mate. And so the women will like go over there. And so they also discovered that like the males, depending on the size of them, that is how tall their tassel is. And
You just eat them all.
He just got all.
if you put one of the
Oh, those are
It's babies.
it's babies.
if you put a big male
not
on
eating
top
them,
of like
it's
a
hiding
little
them.
sandcastle, that male will go and get more dirt to make it his size. And if you put a little male on top of a castle that a big male made, he will like scrape the sand off to be relative to like what he needs it to be. And that's really cool. They talked about like sand dwellers versus rock dwellers. And so they have like some simulations. They have like they put tubes of like I guess like piping and then like clay pots, and that was supposed to be like the rock dwelling area. And they showed that they, even if they like to be like rock dwellers and like that's where they find safety and like stuff, they'll still go out to the other side of the tank where their little mountain is to like mate over there, even when their like natural environment is the like rock dwelling areas. So
So he also has fish that dig like trenches instead of mounds. So two different versions of like the species do two different things. And so what they're working on right now is what they call an F1 hybrid, which is a mix between those that build mounds and those that dig.
They just make flat.
No, they actually build, or they dig a pit and then build a mound on the side of it. Yeah. And so that's like the big study right now, is to seeing like how these different F1 hybrid males and females will do their mating processes and different things, altered being hybrid.
And this is a good example of, you know how I often talk about how you can use animal construction. If your animals are hard to measure their behavior with, just straight up like sensors or whatever, sometimes what you can do is you can have them build something, or, look at what they build, and then you measure stuff about what they're building. Okay, they build this really big mound of sand, and that displaces the water, and you measure the water displacement, and that's how you get your behavioral interaction from them, displaced through like actually what they're doing in the physical world.
So there's one of the mounds off to the side, and this is really testing F1 hybrids also that are normally rock dwellers and those that are sand dwellers. And so he's got a rock structure on the one side and sand on the other, and they stay in the rocks to like protect themselves, but then they swim over to the sand to mate. So it's really strange. But
that'd be nice because how separated they are. It'd be easy to sense like, okay, the fish is here. I know it's in doing this activity or whatever. It's nice to have that spatially segregated. Cool.
yeah,
Great. Any other like big things that stood out to you about how they like house their creatures or anything like that?
Well, one thing was cool was he said they were founded by, or like they're funded by the like National Institute of Health. Like, so, because they really are trying to like just figure out stuff that
regrowing teeth,
humans can use and
Huh.
stuff. So that was cool. And then these fish that they study are from Africa, which is cool. And they know like the main importer and all that kind of stuff. But he
Miami, and
says,
they like get them.
talk
and,
to
like,
him.
It's really
Yeah,
strange.
they're all in Florida.
but they're fish that we can get at PetSmart too. So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
And
I have some, yeah.
yeah, you know the
That's it.
big weird thing about the cichlid? How do you pronounce it?
Cichlids.
Cichlids?
Yeah, he's pretty clever using Malali ones because the offspring are like worth $2, but the adults are worth like $190.
Wow.
So
So you can be making a sweet business out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent job. Above and beyond.
Yay.
Here are some little Orby things for you.
Oh, you get Orby things.
right?
Do they get big and you put them in?
Yeah, you put them in water, and
man,
like
like
that little
those
jug I have over
sponges.
here. Look,
Yeah,
they've
I have
almost
one that
absorbed
turns
all the
into
water.
a-
What do they look like? All like this big.
It's like those little sponge caps.
Exactly.
Do they end up like ever disintegrating?
I
Or can
love
just
the-
keep them in water?
No,
Yeah.
they'll just dry out. They'll dry out and they'll turn back into little
Yes.
balls.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put them in a jar.
Sure. You could. So a thing with them is like, let's say you wanted a homogeneously colored substrate that kept moisture that worms would crawl through.
You can actually use simple ones for that.
Yeah. Who knows?
You could use like
Cool.
that water absorbing grow from plants that's transparent that's also soil. So you could use that instead of soil.
All right, really quick. We have 5 more minutes to go through the rest of them. So just chat. You want to tell me about your
Go
scientist?
ahead, Larry.
I'll go. Okay. I also talked to Dr. Stillman.
Cool.
But instead of going over, I did go over his research, but I also asked more about him. So he started in 1990. He chose that path of going over the cichlids in Africa just because it was interesting to him and it's generally what he wanted to do. I can't remember everything else off the top of my head. I have the record in my email. Can I go pull that out?
Okay, then.
You're cool. We'll chat about it more.
You pull it up, and okay.
Go for it.
Alright, so I went to somebody I actually knew because I got lots of negative emails. So I talked to a neuroscience and behavioral biology expert in Emory University via Skype, so I couldn't go to her lab, but they don't really have a lab anyways. Okay, so what she studies is gorillas at different zoos, primarily the Atlanta Zoo. And the goal is to observe the family relationships between primates and see what different physical contacts, different gestures mean and how they relate to human gestures. And so it's all about like communication without language. And they tried a bunch of different primates at the zoo, like squirrel monkeys and stuff, but chimps. But gorillas had the most developed, they were the easiest to watch because they're big, and they also have like family groups, so that worked. And so what they did is they literally watched gorillas, and that's what they still do. They watch gorillas a lot, and they take videos, and they look for patterns in their interactions with each other, and they look at different family groups from around the world too. So they had the local group, but obviously there aren't a ton of gorillas in Atlanta, so they go look at videos from other zoos and stuff, so they're partners. And they noticed is that there are a lot of patterns that gorillas do that people do too, even though we're kind of like completely different. And like, for example, they do handshakes to greet each other or something.
Really?
Yeah, like they literally, well, it's not necessarily a shake, but they reach up and they squeeze the other gorilla's hand, and that's only the gorillas that they like, and it's like a greeting. So it's
We're having a
interesting.
business meeting.
Yeah, so like this wild animal that has no interaction with business knows what a handshake is.
Weird.
And they have, the same facial gestures, which are smiling, and the shoulder touching is a really big bonding thing between families. And they say that they observed that since gorillas don't have language, that a lot of their bonding is physical instead. So like they hug each other or cuddle, or grooming is really important. So it's like they do things together instead of chat. And a lot of I didn't really understand a lot of the neurological basis for all this, but like for example, the reason every animal likes hugs is because doing the hug from something you have affection for releases oxytocin and some other, what's it called?
The bonding chemical.
Vasopressin, and that makes you feel happy and comfortable and encourages you to do it more. So they're researching these gorillas and identifying these gestures and then figuring out why these gestures are consistent between species.
Cool.
Okay, so that was cool. I wanted to go to the zoo.
Yeah. I would be willing to do. Oh man, I've been having to do all kinds of different stuff and zipping around. I'd be willing to do a zoo field trip.
I would love it.
I'd be so
love it.
but
I've never been.
I would skip class for it.
Huh? The baby pandas are adorable there.
They got their names. They're like.
They have pandas on loan from China because they're all.
I got to hold a red panda once.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm really jealous because it's not illegal to have them as pets.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
China.
they're just like the nicest. I got to feed them an apple. I
No.
was in China.
No.
They
A
kinda
breed like a wild one?
No. Like there was like a panda reserve there. You can pay like $100 to hold a real panda, or like $10 to hold a red panda. I was in the $10 budget. I know. His name was Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I would rather
Thank
have
you.
it. Have
How?
you seen the like bad in Japan where they dye dogs to look like red pandas?
They do that in China too.
I would do that
Yeah.
because they're just so cute.
Alright, cool. Who else chatted with their person?
I'm gonna, no, I did like, this is my second person, and she is
Cool.
being
I'm confident you'll be able to.
Yeah, I'm actually going to call up my high school biology teacher because she used
That's
to
awesome.
work with gorillas.
Yeah.
So that even worked.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you're on for next weekish too?
Yeah.
And Larry's on for like half next week? Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good, because she said she's back now, so she can talk.
What about
Okay.
your ant lab?
Huh?
You said we were going to have a picture.
I know, right? So, that's part of what I want to do. So, we're going to do a slow progression over to my ant lab.
In
So,
CSRB?
no, it's over in College of Computing building. So it's just across the quad. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to grab all your stuff. We're going to be leaving, but we're going to walk for like 5 minutes. Then we're going to stop and we're going to sketch. And then we're going to walk and we're going to stop and sketch. So it's going to be like a slow progression over there.
Excuses to draw.
Okay?
Alright,
Yeah.
it's gonna get ugly.
Okay,
The
cool.
last time I went on one of these.
Alright, so hurry up, grab all your stuff. Here is, make sure that you have drawing things. I have a bunch of paper.
Sorry, not
I would love that. I would love that.
It's going to be really cold.
Nice. Make sure that you have something hard to draw on also.
So we are coming back, I think.
I wouldn't aim on coming back.
So what is this thing
This is the touche thing, where we can detect certain things like I'm just touching it, based on like different gestures. So like this is just me touching on the outside, and we can train it to do different things.
You have to grab this thing.
We can basically click these things and it changes, because basically the different ways that you touch it change the profile.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's a way of doing more advanced, like instead of just binary touch or don't touch sensing.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
more specific.
Exactly.
That's cool.
If you look at that touche link that I sent out on Tuesday,
Yeah, I vaguely went over it, but I completely forgot.
there's like a good little like 5-minute video that like explains everything. It's really nice.
The new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I
get prizes for.
What? But actually, it's really cool.
It's a
like,
Nintendo
in the
3DS.
new game, there are certain Pokemon that can only be captured like in real world regions.
Oh really?
Oh, that sucks.
Not just in the game. Like the Pavilions have.
Well, what I really like about that is that if they like track it enough, you can see like how do things like cross regions.
Yeah,
and
how
stuff
do
like
things cross between different parts of the
These things
US
are so
and stuff
cool.
like that, different parts of the world.
I know, right?
You can tell they're doing it.
Uh huh. Well, yeah, they're sucking up all that water. Okay.
And then they're gonna shrink?
No. They'll be these solid orbs for a while.
What if you just put it in like a whole jug of water? I went to they like that.
It depends. They can absorb a lot of water, but depending on, they'll suck out a certain amount of the water, but then they can just be just the orbs. And they'll be like that for a couple days.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we have the paper, we have writing tools. Here's some, these people love their Chick-fil-A in the other class.
I hope they track it well.
Let's,
Because I would be like, yeah, take
But I bet they could track it. I noticed on the internet they had like maps. They're starting to make maps of the pavilion, which is
Oh,
butterflies and they migrate.
So it's taking a while.
So
to get rid of.
when I street casted a guy from Japan, he had like the craziest flower trees, and I was like, I want your flower trees to fly.
okay. Sketch train, heading to see the ants.
Andy, you're always like on the speed, always like. My friend was like that, and then she just like dropped to sleep. Where did it go? And then the second she wakes up, she's just plugging it in.
All right, let's chill over here in the courtyard. That's going to be our first sketch spot. Courtyard, first sketch spot. Courtyard's going to be the first sketch spot.
What are we sketching?
So, sit down in here in a group. You're not actually going to be, you're going to be sketching in terms of how Warfel describes sketching. So like rapid prototype thinking. So I want all of you to draw, you're going to turn this into your sketchboard. It's going to be kind of like a storyboard, but there's going to be, you're going to draw 4 squares on each of your papers. You can do it in there too if you want. Yeah, that'd be great. Draw 4 squares there, and I'm going to give you guys a prompt, and you're going to think about, and you can discuss with your group, but you're going to have, it's going to be really rapid. We're going to have about 3 minutes for you guys to get ideas down. And don't think about, you know, like filtering them. Don't think about like, is this possible? Think about just getting as many ideas as you can out on the paper in the 3 minutes, okay? The 4 boxes are to help you like structure it. You can treat it as like a storyboard. You can treat it as 4 different pieces of, 4 different frames, 4 different, whatever you want. But it just helps you have a thing to quickly, it limits how much detail you put into something, and then it just kind of keeps you moving, keeps you going, okay? So, and the reason we're doing this today is because we're rapidly narrowing down on your Project 3 design ideas. And it's going to be the last time we can really think about any kind of big overhauls to your design. So the very first thing I want you to think about is just draw down, you have 1 minute for this, draw down your current idea for your project, okay? 1 minute, really quick.
And one of the boxes.
Any of the boxes, however many boxes you want, you can make your storyboard. The boxes are just there to help limit you to a certain drawing size per like drawing unit. I actually have a timer on this camera. 1 minute. $20 seconds. Okay, and stop. Cool. I'm gonna pick one person. Larry.
Yeah.
Tell us your thing.
It's easy thingy.
Show.
It's so it's got a tank, it's got a tray, and it's got a perch for birdies. And you put on the perch and kind of squeeze seeds at the tank. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now you have 3 minutes, everybody. And if you run out of your 1 sheet of paper, grab another sheet of paper. Draw more squares on it, okay? Unlimited paper. We're just going to rapid sketching. Okay, now I want you to think about your project, and you have 3 minutes to think about how it would work if everything in your project that you make has to fit in the size of one of your project boxes. So can you set that in the middle for us, Larry?
Is it our animal?
Not your animal. If your animal's larger than that, then no. If your animal's small enough to fit in the project box, then yes. How would you do it? Okay? And you have slightly longer on this one. I'm going to draw 2.
drop it.
Remember, you can always add text annotations too to things. Eric, your pen is not moving at all. No, just keep doing. You have 3 minutes. So if you finish a sketch, draw another sketch of the thing. You got to just keep the pen moving. You can even try, if you're like, oh, I can't think of anything else, draw the exact same thing again. Even if you can't. Because there's going to be things with how you reflect on it while your pen's moving across your paper.
Yeah, it's not black.
1 minute.
Oh, wait, I can lend you a micron. What size do you
Oh
want?
no, it's not. I don't want to waste your microphone.
Here's a 0.8.
Oh, 15 seconds. And stop. All right, Anna, show us your thing.
Well, it's very simple sketches, but for the most part, we're going to use a free bowl because we're still doing the kitty. And I chose a microphone, so that was really good. And then the Arduino, and then I just put like a little airplane in the box. But we would need a pretty small keyboard to fit inside there.
Oh, good job.
You think we could find one? Also, I had a question. So I saw the potty trainer thing that I posted on the blog post. I mean, obviously it's just like a bunch of pet gadgets, but could we possibly just like use that gadget and then alter it a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is essentially what we were wanting to do. Is that it's got some sort of input that it uses in it. Like I feel like they've already got.
If there's components,
Yeah.
if it's easier to buy a component that does the functions you want it to do,
Yeah.
go with it.
Okay.
That usually works out. But remember, you guys are going to be on top of this. You're not just making a tool for potty training a cat or something.
Yeah.
You're going to be making some sort of media experience with some sort of message that it carries.
Yeah, I was gonna like take it apart a little bit, at least the potty training part, but it felt like the component of the roll that was triggered by some sort of input from the gadget, we could have instead
Totally.
of having to make it.
Totally. Cool. Okay. We're doing one more sketch right here. What time is it? Someone give me the time.
It is maybe 12:40.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be great. Okay, cool. Okay, 3 more minutes. Your exact project, but you're only allowed to use Maddie, the dog. Okay? So try to keep as many other factors of your project the same, except that Maddie is going to be the main creature in there. Okay? And
So wait.
and I'm gonna say not a herd of Maddies either. You can't have multiple Maddies. You only have one creature, and it's just Maddie.
So our creature is
Maddie.
Maddie, or we have to use Maddie for our creature? Like, wait, no, sorry.
Wait, what? How is that
No, like, so.
Maddie.
So
what we're
I'm
building
doing
something
birds
for.
and squirrels.
Yeah.
Nope, you're doing Maddie right
Okay,
now.
cool.
Okay. And how's it gonna change it? What are you gonna have to adjust in your thing to use Maddie to get some sort of the same message or interactive experience across? Okay.
Hey, what are you doing? Sorry.
Eating grass.
What's Maddie look like?
Why? Such a weird question.
I didn't mean to get personal. Thought Maddie and I were on that level.
Oh, Maddie's weird. She's like, won't go in front of people. She's my boyfriend's dog, but she doesn't have a trees and stuff. Yeah, she has to hide. She needs privacy.
Oh.
Oh, wait, where'd you get to this? I'm not really worried about her. She's a coward.
Think about the environment that you're going to be putting in, not just the thing that Maddie's going to be touching. Maddie's kind of crazy. She's running off in bushes and stuff. What are you going to do? Are you going to make a giant box? How are you going to get Maddie to actually interact with your thing? What about if it's a public place? Are there going to be people coming by? Or are you going rah, 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 freaking out Maddie? What's going to happen? Yeah.
You're part of the story too, Mary.
Alright.
Yeah, Mary might be an important part of the environment. Especially so that Mary doesn't call the cops and report it to
This is you going, I want to do homework.
I feel asleep now.
And time. Pick up all your stuff. We're going to chat about two of your things as we walk over to the quad. We're heading eventually towards College Computing Building. Yes, we have a long journey ahead of us. That's why I pack carabiners and water bottles. Onward, team. Danielle, tell us about your only you can have Maddie in your project thing.
Well, Mary's a very busy student. She's working on homework on her laptop. Her laptop releases heat, so she uses
Okay.
a certain desk. And when she's productive, or when the desk gets to a certain temperature, it releases food for Maddie. When Maddie eats the food, and she eventually then needs to use the bathroom.
Thank you.
She he's in a certain place that waters the plant that's underneath the desk. And so there's like a cool study environment kind of thing that Mary has. So like the more productive she is, the more healthy the plant and Maddie is because they get fed.
Okay. An idea is maybe you'll have a, ooh, we found a critter. What do we find?
I don't know if it's alive. It really didn't move when I got near it.
Yeah, try it. Just grab it by its wings lightly.
Both of them.
It's beautiful.
Is it dead?
Nuts.
He's really dead, but he's
Yeah, try to get it to stand on that leaf.
Oh my God, my
winter,
feeder is
so
asleep.
don't they die?
Yeah, he's probably gonna like die off soon. Yeah, coax him onto that leaf.
Come on, little guy.
Cool. Wow.
His wings are really cool. Look at his body's colorful
The
too.
butterfly would die.
Yeah, I thought, isn't it?
They actually have, so she has little scales on her fingers right now, right?
Yeah, it's like a little, like a pigment almost.
So they have a defense mechanism where they have all these scales and they can resist forces from any directions except the normal direction. So like the direction pulling straight out, so they can't stick to things. So like if they fly into a spider web.
He's okay.
It's all right.
That's when Anna killed the butterfly.
And that's when he died.
And screamed.
I scream when things go wrong. It's like a reaction. I can't help it.
All right, let's make it to the quad. Cool. Alex, can you tell us about your design for Maddie is in your project?
Okay, yes, I can. Anna and I still have some work to do since she's been ill.
Okay.
Anyways, but I was thinking that in order to entice Maddie to go near our food storage or whatever, there would be like peanut butter, and she would have to like touch or lick or sniff the peanut butter, which would sense the servo to perhaps like send a laser beam on a secret food storage. So she would have to like comprehend that. Be careful. That food storage is where she would have to go.
Ah. How do you think you could sense if the animal's touching peanut butter or not?
Like the little touche thing that you had. We wouldn't.
Could work.
Am I gonna get
Huh?
Or put a photo sensor directly under like peanut butter.
That could be a good idea too. The touche thing would be weird because you could definitely sense if something's eating the peanut butter by having an electrode implanted into like a little pad of peanut butter.
Yeah.
But once it's eaten some of the peanut butter, then it's distorted what its profile is like. So you don't know if it's like a one-time kind of deal. Whereas the photosensor, you would know if something's there or not.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's
Kind of a one-time kind of deal.
look
just let the animal
right here.
find it.
Sit down. Let's sit down. Let's sketch. Okay. So, 1 minute. 1 minute. Not even a design sketch. We're gonna take. No, I'll do that in a second. Okay, design sketch.
Yeah, it is. Probably wet too. But that's okay.
Think about your target animal for your project 3, and I want you to think about how you can give that animal a new mechanical ability. For instance, like Eric he gave the crickets the ability to roll around, kind of thing. Think about, hey, there goes the butterfly. Yeah, it flew away.
Happy ending.
You know, it's probably heat. It just it was sitting over there in the cold, and now it just like heated up, and it got its body rolling. Yeah. Okay. So new mechanical ability. You have 3 minutes. Okay.
Could a mechanical ability be eaten?
In a different way. Like, you know, maybe butterflies can only really suck nectar. So maybe if you wanted it to be able to eat a watermelon, you could make this thing that chomps watermelons up, and so then the butterfly can sit down and suck up the nectar. So yeah, it could be a form of eating. Specifically related to your project. So if you're doing cats, do it about a cat, giving a mechanical ability to your cat. Okay? If you're doing worms, do worms. If you're doing squirrels and nuts, squirrels and nuts. Cool.
Over there, watching a squirrel, and a hawk came and ate it.
Whoa!
lost state of squirrel.
That happens
So maybe you could
first.
think about.
So like with the small birds, the squirrel runs one, but with the hawk, the squirrel.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you could think about a defense mechanism for a squirrel. What if the squirrel was wearing a little helmet, and anytime presence of another large creature was detected, big
Shot up a
spikes,
rocket.
you know, shot up, or yeah, something happened.
I'm a little stumped because I'm not quite sure what new mechanical. Because that's a pretty.
Sure, but there's things that they can't do. They can't roll around.
Are they Pikachu?
They can roll.
Can they generate electricity?
Just give them all
Can
a
they?
You're giving me 3 minutes to think about a way that a cat can generate electricity.
You can think about any. Sure,
The cat
totally.
on a
Okay,
treadmill.
Alex,
Let's put a
Alex,
cat on a
Alex,
treadmill.
this is yours.
Yo,
Your cat
Put
sends electric bolts.
electrical generators
Okay.
on its legs.
That is your specific sketch thing. Your cat has to somehow send electricity somewhere. You start thinking about it.
Oh, the cat.
Wow. Cat on a treadmill is somehow going to have a lamp work.
Sure.
Just about to tell
I don't even know how to do that.
Think with your hands.
Oh, I have an idea. Now I see what
Oh,
you're
boy.
Yeah.
I really think actually giving squirrels a mini generator based on their movements is pretty great.
I'm gonna find a way to make worms do that.
Yeah. I remember it can be a mechanical ability. That's a little abstract. Think more lower level. It can be an ability they already have, like cats can jump, but cats can't jump 30 feet in the air. Or cats can walk, or cats can swim, but can they swim to the bottom of the ocean? Okay? So, different ideas. Let your brain just unlock. I want to see cat submarine suits and cat Pikachu. All kinds of great stuff. Okay, 1.5 minutes. Thirty seconds.
This is the best idea ever. It's a squirrel battery charger.
Bunny battery.
I want one of those for me. That's the best idea ever. Like, it's a suit. You just put your batteries on it and it charges things up as you move around.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Okay, time. Next challenge. Do all of you know the game Asteroids?
Nope.
Yes.
Is that like yeah.
Little spaceship, there's little floating things. You shoot them and they break apart and there's more.
His universe is shaped like a donut.
Yeah. How can you turn your project into a simulation of the game Asteroids?
We use a laser. We could throw it into it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe your cat blows apart things in the environment. How does the cat get feedback that something's being blown apart because it's lasers?
It implies that it's fake.
Think about these things. Just go totally nuts. Think about all the different aspects of the game Asteroid. You have a ship. You have a ship that can move. Is your animal going to be the ship? Is your animal going to be the asteroid? Is your animal going to be the little UFO that goes by sometimes and just blasts
Wait, we don't
stuff?
want our animals to blow up.
I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. It doesn't. And blowing up could be a metaphor.
Buttons, launch cat.
Eric, think with your hands.
Okay.
There we go.
So do things actually have to blow up?
It's up to you. It's up to you, Alex. You are the maker of your own world. Does anything really exist outside of your mind?
Yeah.
It's all the way that you interpret.
I might punch you. You need to stop that
Maybe
right
that's
now.
just because I wanted you to punch me. Anyway,
Maybe
whatever
I
you
wanted
want.
you to punch.
I don't know if you exist, Danielle.
Is this real life?
It's just fantasy.
Finally.
No escape.
You have 3 minutes. It just occurred to me the other day. Like, I record all these videos so that, like, if you guys ever miss something in class, you can go back and, look through them on the big YouTube, the massive amount of data I have on YouTube right now because of this. But I just realized that, like, in the future, there may be, like, professor jobs or something. Like, they'll look through random classes, and I just wonder what they'll stumble across.
We've been talking about punching each other.
Yeah.
That one billionaire way back in college, in class,
Talking about bombs.
and launching cats, turning things into asteroids.
Eric, you need a whole new set of 4 panels.
No.
Yeah, you need more space.
more
You need more
paper.
space to think. There you go. I got him.
I've
What
got
kind
more
of
paper.
learner are you? What's your learning style?
I have no clue.
You seem very uncomfortable, like, he's hungry.
Yeah, when that happens.
I don't know. Yeah, I just feel really uncomfortable right now.
It's okay.
Really?
You know what we
Yeah.
should
What
do?
parts?
Like, I don't know what I'm drawing. Like,
Asteroids. You know the game Asteroids.
if I just
Oh
told
my
me to
God,
draw
look at
something
her
random, I would draw it. But if you tell me to, like,
That
draw
is no
something
cat.
specific,
Don't look.
I freak out.
Dude,
Huh.
Eric, you and I, we should have
You can
a
write.
coffee time, and then we'll just, like, talk, like, a bunch of stuff. And we'll be like, what do we think about this? That'll be really fun.
Cool.
We should- Thank you.
You can write text if you want, if the drawing's the uncomfortable part. Yeah, that's fine. It's about getting your ideas onto something concrete.
God, this one is just it's not working.
Remember, it doesn't have to.
I have a good idea.
These are all things to inspire.
I really still want that battery charging system.
Sure.
I'll send you some things. Besides
Good.
that, I just want a suit that charges my double A's.
That's great. And we can do that in the ME class around here.
I'll do that in my spare time.
Keep thinking. Asteroids.
I'm thinking,
Use your pen to think.
if I use my pen to think, all that'll end up are scribbles.
That's
Lots
fine.
and lots of scribbles.
That's fine. That's how you learn.
Like literal just lines.
I see a lot of Larry lip movement. I see less Larry hand movement.
That means something.
Hey, what are you doing? Just being a flirt. Like, everybody.
I remember there was this moment in middle school that I was, like, upset because during lecture, to, like, absorb things, I just had to, like, draw in the margins these, like, shapes and, like, what I perceived thoughts to look like. And, like, I looked around and, like, people, like, didn't do that. And I was like, but this is the only way for me to do something. And then I had to make that moment in middle school where I was like, well, I'd rather learn something, so I guess I just have to draw a bunch anyway, even though no one else is doing that. So, like, that's why I guess I learned that it's better to just, like, draw what people are saying rather than, like, be upset about that no one else sketches. Does that make sense? Like, it's less about being OCD and more
Is it
about...
OCD?
It's
No,
not really
it's like...
OCD.
People overuse OCD. If somebody had OCD, it'd be kind of obvious.
Well, drawing things is like a... What is it called? Like synesthesia or something. Like drawing people's... Okay, I will just stop talking.
No,
You're
no,
fine.
it's okay.
For
Synesthesia is
school, I
where you
usually
have.
just would draw. It wasn't that I had to draw anything related to class. The So my notes were pretty much his half is his notes, and that half
So
is
are you a visual learner or a
Very
kinetic learner?
very visual.
10 seconds.
Are you drawing things that are productive towards learning, or are you just drawing to keep active? Because that's the difference.
Just drawing to keep active, so I don't have to sit and
Those are
listen.
kinetic.
I also like seeing things. I can imagine how that works.
Wait, we're going?
Reading
Right,
these
every time
theoretical.
Going.
the cat eats a piece of food,
But
it launches out even
New
more
game,
food to
new
the cat.
rules. You get 10 steps for every animal you draw. You can only use one species at a time. We're trying to make it to that lamppost down there. Got it?
So we, if not
That
an
takes
animal
10
draw it,
times.
Boom. I'm going to give you an example.
my pants are really wet.
We'll get to it in a second.
So the drawing rate.
They're more for you. Okay. This is going to be and
See them? Or are we just
leave a little A on your necklace
Oh my god.
and some legs.
Portrait's really
Beautiful legs. Boom! There's my Alex. There's my Alex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have to draw another thing. You have to draw something though. You have to earn those steps, Alex.
I drew a tree.
Okay, well keep going. The dog.
1, 2, 3, 4,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're gonna run out of species if you don't look in the ground.
Wait, we have to see it to draw it?
You have to see it to draw it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Animals, plants,
What plant?
sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man, I'm starting to get strapping for different types of animals or plants. Come on, bird. Come on, bird.
Wait, you actually have to see it?
Yeah, you gotta see it to draw it.
Oh.
Just keep going. Oh man, where was it? Hmm.
1, 2, 3.
Uh-oh.
Wait, I haven't drawn a dog yet.
Grass is a plant. It's its own species, yes. Okay, there's a short little shrub over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, butterfly! Our butterfly friend's back.
What about a cloud?
Okay. Can clouds, can they move on their own? Or, no, that's not a definition of life. Can they reproduce?
Yeah, into more clouds.
Into more clouds? I don't think the clouds are doing that.
The wind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, Danielle took first place. We're gonna do it till third place. Oh, where's all the bugs in the ground? They like exterminate everything. We live in a huge monoculture, people. Look at this. Ah, slightly different type of grass.
No, Maddie's pooping in this. I'll fix that up.
Okay. Mary, I'll excuse you to
Deal with it?
yeah. I'll give you an honorary third place.
Okay.
Awesome.
Maddie, come here.
Maddie, come here. You have to pick up after yourself, girl. It's right up there. Nice. Do we get a third place yet? All right, we have an honorary third place for Mary always bringing in our target animal. All right, when you're all done, meet up over here at this lamppost, okay? Larry, you can come in, Larry.
Is a fire hydrant its own species?
Fire hydrant is not a species. Okay, give me a time check real quick.
109.
109, okay?
We're not gonna make it.
No, we're gonna make it. College computing's right up there. We're gonna do a walk and talk.
So sad. You're like, we're not gonna make it.
We're gonna make it, Katie. Hold on. Be strong. Nice.
Larry's
Look, we had to deal with all sorts of biology.
Patty's poop with a piece of paper.
Uh-huh. An interaction. Animal-human interaction.
That's love.
That's love. I would never hold shit.
Hey, what's up, man? Pretty good? Yeah, this is my class. We're picking up poop. We're finding butterflies.
I am.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's go see some ants. Walk and chat. Walk and chat. Okay. Okay, people.
Who drew you?
You drew me.
That's you.
Nice.
I drew Katie.
I just realized I have a bicycle helmet on. How long have I been teaching with a bicycle helmet on?
The whole time.
Really?
Ever
I just figured it was
Wow.
part of,
Ever since we left.
part of the effect.
Let's rewind back to, I want to see some of the asteroids projects.
Oh, I have one.
Okay, Katie, go.
Okay, so it's asteroid. Wait, ants versus asteroid. So it's like a worm versus the ant, and the worms go on those little jelly things to squish them. That
Okay.
we had in class.
Okay.
And those are like the bomb. And if the ant gets hit by it, then it changes color and it dies.
Huh.
Like this.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. How are you going to get the worm to splat something like
Because
that?
it's gonna like crawl over it, and its sheer weight is
Huh.
gonna splat.
I think you'll need to play with these silicone balls a little bit more. Because they don't really kind of like, they're not quite like water balloons. Yeah. But interesting concept. I like you using another animal in there to add a different element in. Okay, cool. Another asteroids project from the back. Mary, have we heard from you yet with the sketchies?
Oh, that's a pole.
There's a pole.
Okay, well, one of them was that the feeder is split into sections, and every time you touch the thing, more sections come apart. So, like, if you hit the feeder, it becomes more.
So every time you press the thing, or every time like
Every
the...
time the squirrel, sorry.
Ah, that'd be interesting. So they start out with like this crazy bonanza.
And they're different patterns, so it's hard to
Ooh.
find the best. Yeah.
That could be really interesting. Having some sort of centralized thing that all the birds and stuff go to, that then the more they feed from it, the more spread out and less rewarding it kind of becomes. And maybe they'll slowly gravitate back to each other or something, if they leave it alone. Weird, that could be really cool. Huh. How do you think you could implement that in the real world?
Well, again, I had a segmented thing where in the processing, if this many hits do this many hits do this, and then the segmented thing changes which segments are open. But I guess you could use multiple feeders too.
Huh. I was thinking some sort of crazy system of wires hooked up in the tree that you'd have these little micro feeders, and they would all go to like a centralized point maybe, and then they would slowly like spread out. I don't know. It's crazy. They think you're what? Well, you guys are famous. You guys are in the first Cybiotic interaction class at this university. And don't I guarantee you there's going to be some animal interaction classes that are going to pop up at Georgia Tech, and they're going to be like, here's Georgia Tech's first animal interaction class. You guys are there at the beginning.
And we have it on film.
Exactly. Okay, welcome to the College of Computing building. Who's been here before?
My name is
Oh. Who in the back? Who's been to the College of Computing building before?
Oh, I came down.
Ah, nice. So I used to work here before I got a job teaching you guys. I was building bio-tracking software where basically the idea is that instead of always building robots from the ground up, maybe we can learn and quickly get some robot building inspirations or ideas directly from all the little robots that are already running around that are really good at dealing with stuff in the real world, like Maddies or ants, all that kind of stuff. So right here's the Robotics and Intelligent Machines lab, or RIM as they call it. Build lots of robots in there. I think because I don't work here, they revoked my access, which is too bad. So remember when I talked earlier about how you have to be crafty in this business? So we're going to be crafty and see if we can get somebody to let us in to go see the ants. It'll work out. So we'll be going. These are the Computation and Perception Lab and the Multi-Agent Systems and Multi-Agent Robotics and Systems Lab. They look into basically how they can give smarter eyes, ears, and brains to basically kind of the robots down below. But they all kind of work together. But what we're going to look at today is we're going to go past. We're going to go past all of the PhD carols, so we'll be really quiet, and then I'll show you back in the lab where the actual ants and other biological things are. Okay? But first, because I don't have my ID, we'll see if we can have someone let us in. Hello.
I can't open the door.
Oh, yeah. Oh, darn.
Sorry. Are you going to someone's today?
I'm giving them a tour of our lab up there, but I don't have.
Okay. Well, there's a call box there. If you know someone in there, you can call them and they can open the door for you.
I don't have a directory number in there. There's Brian or Misha's in there. Ooh. They're all
Scroll up or down.
Oh yeah. Okay, somebody scroll and see if you can see if Tucker Balch is there too. Yeah.
Yep.
It is a cool name. Okay, 006. See if we can call him up. Hey, Tucker, it's Andy.
Oh, hey, Andy.
Hey, are you in your office?
Yes.
Hey,
You may let you in. Can't you get in?
I can't anymore. Awesome, thanks. Thank you very much. Okay, so these are all the PhD carols. So we'll sneak by. I'm going to go through this way. I'm going to park you guys over here. I'm going to look at the ants. I'm going to go chat with my old boss, Tucker. Here's all our ants. So we can. And then Mary, just try to keep Maddie on the down low. Okay? So these are the ants that we look at in the lab. I'm gonna go say hi to Tucker real quick. You guys just kind of absorb it. I want you guys to draw an ant habitat, okay? Hi, Tucker.
Hey, man.
Yeah, they my access is revoked. But I just I brought my little class back.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm just showing them how we store and maintain
Show
ants.
them this.
What is that? Oh, mercury.
Yeah. Don't drop it.
It's so heavy.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's a really kind of satisfying feeling.
I think
Cool.
I'm gonna get another pound. Put it in there.
Yes, I'll show them the other. Yes. So yeah, just while you draw it, try to look at all the different aspects and see if anything
These answers
comes to mind, or like, why is this there? Why does this work like that?
What is that?
I'll tell you about it in a second.
That's not mercury, is it?
Yes, it is.
Mercury is awesome, but don't touch it.
So, what they do here is the goal is we want to be able to stage different ant happenings. Like we'll put a mealworm in there to feed. Then we'll have a camera mounted up here on a copy stand. We have this thing backwards so we can look at anything. A nice high resolution DSLR, looking at the ants, and then being able to, we've abstracted their environment into a two-dimensional plane. These are open because we use either the Fluon or WD-40 to lube up the edges to keep the ants from crawling in. That keeps their environment kind of from getting like moldy, if it's too closed, from them turning into goo spontaneously. But
You
some
should have
worms
seen
turn into
colors.
worms. That was
Oh, you missed that, didn't you?
Yeah.
But so the way it works is they like to have little different chambers. So that's why this is kind of divided into two chambers there. To keep they're very messy, especially if they don't have a good place to throw away the refuse. So you can see they have a nice garbage pile. Yeah, this is all garbage. They just pile up their garbage, and they'll actually like sort it in different stuff. See, those are like mealworm carcasses they piled up here. Here's like more digested bits. But because they also need, do you guys remember what are the three things that the insects need to live?
Water, air.
Water. Okay, there's a fourth one. Sugar. And then they need one more thing.
Protein.
Protein. So the sugar basically keeps them moving. Protein helps them build more creatures. So their protein is the mealworms. I'll show you the mealworms in a second. And their sugar, their water, we give them in test tubes. And we do that because we just dump a pile of water in there. The ants are going to walk in and drown. They're not very good at this kind of thing. Plus, it invites more nasty things like mold and stuff to start attacking. So what we do is we put, we take one of these little test tubes, we fill it full of water via these nice little squirting devices. Look at these. These are really handy devices. Except when it's not screwed on all the way. Then you cap off the lid with a half a cotton ball. Like that. Then, when we lay it down, the water doesn't dump everywhere. So I was kind of expecting it to dump on Katie. But it doesn't dump everywhere. And the ants are able to drink basically through the moisture. They're able to suck the moisture through the cotton. Then, as the water actually gets drained, the cotton ball actually recedes back into the test tube. And mealworms, you order online, and they look like this.
They turn into like needles.
They turn into beetles. It's only if a mealworm, there's a mechanism for returning beetles. If they're around other juveniles, so these are like larvae, then yeah, this guy's alive. He's just been in the freezer, so he's cold. But now he's kind of waking up now, heating up, just like that butterfly we saw. Yeah. So if there's a bunch of these juveniles all around each other, they'll inhibit the others from turning into pupa and metamorphosizing into the actual beetles. Because you can see, yeah, there's a beetle right there who may have escaped, or maybe you just fed it to them. But they don't like the beetles as much. They're not as much of a nice, just protein goo fat pack.
But he's like bigger than them. So there's more of them. It's like the velociraptor, they like attack.
So what they do is,
Can we watch him?
quick warning, if anybody does not want to see,
You're cutting it open.
I'm going to cut a mealworm in half and feed it to the rest of these guys.
Are they gonna eat it right now?
Well, you should just put it in alive and let them kill it.
It's very hard for them to actually get past the hard shell of these mealworms. So by cutting them in half, we actually, they become these nice little, like, Dixie cups full of nutritious goo. So okay, anybody who wants to look away can. Go for it, mealworm. Can you fight for it? I tend to try to get them right at their head, so that it kind of kills them more instantly. Try to be nicer.
I'm afraid you're gonna cut yourself more than the poor real one.
Okay, and then usually I cut them down the middle like that. So then we lay down half of that, or both halves like that. You can actually watch the ants kind of like chatting with each other. They're a little cautious. Look at it. They're very emotive when they're actually looking at that. He's going up there. They're not just these kind of cold, hard robots that you always kind of think of.
They're
ants
wondering
as.
what it is.
Yeah, he's being very cautious. She is. These are all girls out here. She's kind of checking with it. Her and all her friends are like scouting it out. You might, if we're lucky, you might get to see them like be like, oh, okay, this is great. I'm gonna go tell the other ants about this mealworm. See if that happens.
Do ants poop?
Yeah, they do poop. You see all that, like that messy dirt stain on the bottom right there?
Yeah.
It's totally ant poop. Yeah, they poop all over there. They don't poop in their hive though. And the queen gets kind of poop delivery service.
Do we know where she is?
Yeah, I'll show it to you in a second. Let's look at this.
She's the queen and they're the side people.
Boy, they are really, usually they freak out a little bit. Back like a year or two ago, whenever we dropped mealworms in there, they'd be like, what is this thing? And they'd go and they'd run around, they'd grab all their buddies, and they'd come back. But now they're just kind of like, oh, well, I think it's this tasty thing again. So, I don't know if they've learned, or if maybe just this particular mealworm isn't,
Look, he's coming. He's smelled it. Can they smell it? Yeah, look, they're coming over.
What kind of ants are these?
These are Aphenogaster cockerelli ants. They are from, here they are. Here's how you spell it. Aphenogaster cockerelli. They're from Arizona. And they're a really nice big ant to work with. We have other ants that have gotten me, but we have some ants that live in their entire colony fit inside this little slide, and there was like 300 of them. And so those are the ants that you saw getting painted in the ant painting video.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, so personally, these are kind of easier to work with because they're bigger, but they also take up more space. They have labs where they have like 100 of these Pteranothorax ants, all stacked up. It's very easy to take care of them and all that. But it depends who you're looking for.
Well, we just don't need these
So you guys want to see the colony?
Yeah.
So first, we have this red protective film over it. Does anybody know why?
It's not supposed to be like super bright inside the
Protect the babies?
ideally the ants live underground, right? So the ants can't really see long wavelengths of light, like red or infrared light.
So it's just like darkness for them?
Yeah, so to them it's just darkness, but we can still get a quick visual, like, oh, okay, the ants are still looking good.
Will they go crazy if they left it?
They might go a little crazy. No, they're fine. And you see it, can anyone find a queen?
Yeah. Ooh, is that the
Is she in that hole?
She is, nope, it's not her.
Give us a clue.
Do you see her?
I see her. She's surrounded by other ants. They're always waiting on her.
She's somewhere around here.
She is. She's actually the biggest one right in the middle there. See if she's a little bit bigger. Her chest, in particular, her thorax, is larger than the other ants. See, their chest is only about this big. Her chest is very big. And I don't see many. Okay, so here is a pupa.
Yeah.
That is, like, they start out as like little eggs that turn into little maggots, that turn into these little cocoons, that then turn into.
She's over here somewhere.
Okay, I'm going.
What time is it?
It's 1:30.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Can I see the queen?
Sure. I'll take it back.
You see her? Is she a little bit reddish? Yeah.
I think it's just like.
I just need food.
You can head out that way, or you can head out the way we came back in. Either way is fine. Yeah.
Can I look at that mercury for a second?
Oh, sure. So Tucker, my boss, also wanted me to show you this. It's just a huge thing of mercury that he bought.
If you drank that, would you just instantly die?
I don't know how you would die.
Not instantly.
It almost looks like
I
water.
think you would die within the day. It feels very heavy. You wanna?
Yeah,
It
despite
looks
being
like
liquid,
shiny.
it's
Looks
metal.
like a mirror.
It's liquid metal.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I like how it
Looks like moving through the that door.
You can leave through there or through the way we came in.
So this is mercury.
Yes, this is mercury.
Yeah, that's why you fold on the top.
Yeah.
What happens if we broke that?
We would have to evacuate the entire building.
Really?
Wait, really? So we should have evacuated my high school when my friends lived in Mercury?
Totally. If you broke a big barometer,
She broke like a little thermometer. So
a little thermometer.
It was like a bead, like
Okay.
that big.
But there's a big barometer,
Yeah.
you know, and it had a bunch of mercury in it. They dropped one of those in my high school. We all had to evacuate and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She just has like a paper towel and threw it away. I was like, Danielle, you might want to go get my Anthony. She was like my chemistry teacher. She was like, no, I got it. I was like, you might want to go get my Anthony.
Cool.
I'll see you
Any other
guys.
questions? Yeah. take
Me
off.
too.
Thanks so much, Larry. Have a good weekend, guys. Work on your project. It's going to be your main homework.
I'm gonna order that little pie tray thing.
Totally.
So I feel like that'd be a good gadget
He
to have.
escaped. He escaped.
Little rascal. My sister just takes one.
Sometimes they build up their
And, like,
pile
get
of
out?
garbage. Yeah.
Do you have to empty that?
We do. Anybody have any final questions? Anybody want to get one as a souvenir?
Good. I feel like I've seen people eating all lunch before. Is that
I know. I wanted to put this storage on board later. Never mind.
She wants to,
cut it open and put it in there?
Oh, you want to feed it? Yeah. Go for it. There you go. There's some scissors down there.
Dude, the mealworm is still alive.
Oh yeah.
His head is moving.
I dropped it.
He's right there.
I'm gonna go give this mercury back to Tucker.
Okay. That's probably a good idea. Now when we said the mealworm.
I'm like actually terrified.
Really? Be careful and please don't cut yourself.
This is so weird. Oh my god.
Did you cut your head?
I think so. It's so weird.
You're just murdering me.
This is so horrible. Ew, he's flexible now. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna be done with this. Okay, bye. Oh, I should have cut him in half.
Yeah, you have to cut him in half.
Okay.
Gross. Not yet, little bit.
Wait, they're throwing something away.
I was told I had something, right?
Yeah.
That was so weird.
Look, he's touching it. And this is English too. Is that not what that looks like? Okay, I'm going.
That's so weird.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, she totally dropped me. I couldn't find it.
So you succeeded?
I succeeded.
Cool. Awesome. No problem. Okay. Well, I'll get to my next class. Yeah, you guys too. Let me know any questions. Definitely start ordering stuff you need. We're out of time very quickly.